Well, we're here today on the banks of the River Avon at Evesham town. This will be the scene for the up-and-coming Evesham Angling Festival. This set of pegs here, there's 1 to 40 on the town stretch and there's another 47 on the Hampton Ferry stretch below, and that'll be combined to make the complete match length for the Evesham Angling Festival. I've been coming here probably almost 40 years now. I think in fact I came in the late 70s. The first time I ever came, I won the match and sort of fell in love with the place. I drew at the top of the town, which was the place to be in the shallow water. I had 17-pounder roach and dace and chub, and it was a brilliant day's fishing, and ever since then I've either tried to qualify or I've been lucky to have invitations to the final. This year's river is nothing like what we used to fish. It used to be all chub and dace and a few roach, and in the last sort of 20 years the river's changed completely. Most of the chub have gone, the dace are virtually non-existent now, but they've been replaced with roach, perch, skimmers. There's some good bream, there's some good barbel, there's the odd good chub peg. This one here, for instance, on the mouth of the Isbourne is a noted chub peg, and there's 1 or 2 fish still up on the town on peg 6 and 7 where you're likely to have a day's chub fishing, but they're very scarce. Whereas it used to be sort of 6 pints of bronze maggots on a waggler or a stick float, it's been changed now. It's sort of 3 or 4 different methods to get you the sum total of sort of 7 or 8 pound, or even a little bit more. You may be fishing for perch and close to the lilies and reeds for an hour or 2, and then going out on empty and catching a few roach, and maybe in the deeper pegs you'll be fishing for perch and eels on a flat float and things like that. The Evesham Angling Festival consists of basically 3 matches, but there is an Evesham Vets Championship as well, which has preceded, a week or so before. But the main events are the River Avon Championship on the Saturday, the Evesham Championship on the Sunday, and the Avon Team Championships on the Monday. The first of these matches, the River Avon, will just be a normal river match really, and then on the Sunday the Evesham Championship takes in a bloodworm and joker, which changes things slightly. I think it's a good format. It does provoke a few opinions, but I think you definitely need it. It should spice up the fishing for the Sunday and the Monday matches. 3 days on a normal river with just ploughing maggots and casters in, it does have a bit of a knock-on effect. Earlier on in the season there was an algae bloom in the river, and it kept the roach and the dace and everything else, perch and that, feeding a bit. But since the temperature has dropped and there's had a bit of rain, the algae bloom's died off and the river's gone very clear. So if we have no rain now between now and the festival, I think we're going to have a bit of a struggle where maybe 6, 7, 8 pound will be a good weight. Things should improve on the bloodworm side of it, and maybe there will be 1 or 2 chub show on these sort of pegs. This area around here has been good to me in the past. Just upstream here on peg 30 is where I won the Evesham Championship a few years ago. A little bit higher up on peg 27, I won the River Avon Championship. And funnily enough, yesterday I was just above the bridge and it was the Veterans Championship, and I won that which was only £9.5, and £7 of that was a barbel that I fished for on the pellet the last hour and a half of the match. If we don't get any rain, things are going to be hard for a lot of competitors, especially in the deep water. But you only need a few hours heavy rain in this part of the country, and because we're in the town, virtually in the town centre, all the land drains and the road drains empty into the river, and it can make a massive difference, even if it's only for a couple of hours. When we arrived this morning, it was absolutely tipping down with rain. It had rained heavy overnight in Evesham, and when we drove to the top of the town waters on the Crown Meadow, there was colour coming in from the brook opposite and also down the river, and we decided to have a couple of hours fishing on those pegs, see what we could catch. They'd caught very little there yesterday, but today, as soon as we started, we caught skimmers. I even had 2 chub, the biggest one would probably be £1.5, but the skimmers was up to sort of £1.5. We had some nice roach, 1 or 2 perch, but as soon as the colour had gone, after sort of an hour and a half, we struggled for bites after that. So it just shows you how important these conditions can be. Where we've been today, 1 and 2, I wouldn't fancy them to catching a lot of roach because you'll have pike trouble, but 6 and 7 and 8, just where it drops into the deeper water, you catch good stamp roach here on bloodworm. Also through the town, especially when you get to this area around 29, 30, 31, you always catch good stamp roach there. And down on the Hampton Ferry waters on the White House Bend, 44 to 50, we'll see another good set of roach weights. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. I say it's always had a place in my heart for the last 40 years. And whether we catch anything or, or win the match, we'll have a real good time. And it's a festival that stood the test of time.